You know, I really have a hard time answering either or questions that make me choose between one or the other, such as, is a hot dog a hamburger or a taco? Or, would you rather have the power to fly or be invisible? Or, is there a purpose in life, or are we just floating balls in space? Or, did Jenny just do the dab, or is she having another nervous breakdown? Because honestly, I can't help but see a ton of overlap in between these two perspectives. There is black, there is white, but evidently there are also endless shades and colors in between. My thoughts will breed other loosely related thoughts. I remember seeing this comment from my other video that perfectly put in words what has been going on in my head for most of my life. And if I find it, I will put it here. This, okay, would usually happen when I come across something that stands out to me. I would think about that thing, and then I would have a voice in my head adding on to what I had just experienced, and then I would have more voices and more thoughts and or feelings adding on to that, and then that whole progression would morph into other thoughts as an offshoot of that main one, and then chaos ensues as I have to, I guess, mentally sort this out. We tend to pause mid-sentence and dart our eyes around when looking for the next appropriate adjective or phrase or term to say, because we're really careful to convey accurately what we wanted to say in response to you, while also making what we say acute to your situation without so much sacrificing the authenticity of our thought. It's sort of a tightrope that we constantly walk on because we really want it to resonate with you as naturally as possible. But in a society that champions quick reactions and prompt and articulate answers to everything, you might see me as slow because I constantly and diligently process damn near everything you say to me. I don't know, it just has to do with all the previous points. Actually, when we are in a conversation, I tend to do a lot more listening precisely because I want to understand you, and I also know it takes time away from having to talk about myself, which I think is a huge sigh of relief, but even here I would have to say, it depends. Anyways, I also begin to expand on everything you just said in my own head, and so my responses would be expressed as a general statement that is relevant to you, but also to the nature of humanity, or the mysteries of society, or the end of the earth. You know, the usual. Whatever topic that stands out to me in this current conversation will be brought up again in the future, and your relationship with us will have conversations with a really weird underlying sense of continuity. Whatever you heard about ISFJs having a really good recall memory, it's very true. You better watch it. I tend to be a slow learner because I have a very difficult time taking in a new concept as is. I constantly feel a need to compare this to something tangible to what I've already learned, something concrete, something I've already experienced. But again, it does depend on the subject at hand, right? If someone were to ask me to recall a piece of mundane trivia, or like the use of a geometric equation, or whatever stupid ass protocol that we had to follow at work, then that's almost effortless to me. But if you were to ask me to lead a team of specialists to revamp a previously run-down HVAC system, fuck that. Actually, with that said, I think that the speed of learning depends on how quickly I can assimilate new concepts to past experiences, which implies that the more life experience, the faster I could learn new things. Yeah. Talking to strangers is generally not too difficult, especially when that small talk is joyous and lighthearted. It's when I get to actually know the person that it gets a lot more difficult because I'm constantly under the paradigm that I would eventually run out of things to say, and the rapport would dry up, and all the effort would end up fruitless, and everything would be sad, and I would die alone. It gets even worse when a third person gets involved, because then I would have to consider that person's perspective in the conversation, and I'm already so invested in what this person has been talking about. I think it's just me, but if I'm in a group of more than 3, specifically. That actually rhymed. That was very nice. That was very delightful. Then I tend to fade into the background, willingly or otherwise.